I am still only shocked that in 2025, there are still SaaS companies who ignore the one thing that can easily help them leapfrog their competitors early on. Especially when it's been proven over and over again that this one thing, right, is the difference between SaaS companies that make it and SaaS companies that fail. Heck, even McKinsey, right, that popular consulting firm, right, the company that produces more unicorn founders than any other company in the world, I have said it themselves that this one thing is the most underused booster by SaaS founders. I need you to just think about that. The most underused booster. That just goes to show you how important this thing is. And I know by now you are probably wondering what the heck I am talking about here. Well, I'm going to tell you. And later in this video, I'm also going to show you how this same underused booster helped a company boost their LTV to CAC ratio from 3 to 1 to 5 to 1 within 8 months. It helped them to increase their ARR by over 6%. It helped them to decrease their operating expenses, and it allowed them to scale rapidly while being extremely profitable. Now, so what is this like one thing that I'm talking about? What is it about, right? This so-called underused booster. Well, what I have been talking about is called customer success. But not just any kind of customer success. I'm talking about the fully enabled customer success that is woven into every aspect of a company. The kind that is woven into the go-to-market strategies. That is more than just a department, but a mindset. You see, many SaaS companies these days they are starting to realize that in this age of AI, the old ways of doing SaaS is dead. You see, back in the days, right, during the pre-AI era, what used to be a competitive edge for most SaaS companies was having a talented engineering team and a killer sales team. Now, why all that is still important in today's SaaS? They are no more enough. Really, they are no more enough. You see, AI has changed the landscape. We now have tools like Cursor AI that allow software engineers to ship faster than ever. Right? You could, go into the software code they to AI codes everything and they ship it out. I mean, the barrier has been so lower that anyone with a solid knowledge of software engineering can now do things that used to be once out of their reach 4 or 5 years ago. And then we had AI sales tools like Gong.io that uses advanced AI to help make sales easier, especially B2B sales that used to be slow and complex and bureaucratic and all that. Like, the growth of AI has made it easier than ever for most people to go from idea to execution faster than ever. And that is why you see every day the market gets flooded with new companies claiming that they have some groundbreaking AI. Now you may be thinking that, no, if most of all these companies, they don't have good products anyway, so they will die out very soon. I mean, yes, that is true. They will actually die out very soon. But the problem is that before they do, they will cause a lot of problems for the SaaS companies that actually have something unique to offer, especially in the B2B space. You see, most of all these SaaS companies that we die out very soon, they usually go all out at the beginning of their phase. They spam different companies with cold calls, cold emails, and so like whatnots. What does they do, right? They promise the world while delivering peanuts and so much less. And because of the sheer amount of these so-called AI companies, most businesses that they usually sell to are now starting to experience things like analysis paralysis and also even having setbacks in their businesses. So because of this, right, these businesses are not trying to avoid these things. They're now starting to become, should I say, much more reserved or, whatever the word is supposed to be. They are starting to consolidate their tool stack and stick with only a few SaaS products. And the SaaS products that they are sticking with, right, are SaaS companies that do two things right. First, are the SaaS companies that have really good products that actually deliver on its promises. And second, it makes them feel confident that they can have a long-term partnership with these companies, right? They feel that these companies are innovative and they can continue to help them stay competitive when they use them. Can you now see that you cannot just rely on engineering, having some crazy ass software or having killer sales teams or marketing or whatever? That is why I'm saying the the SaaS landscape is changing. It's moving past the old ways of just these things, right? And it started to, if I started to move past just revenue focused account management, it's now started to include actual customer success, right? Which is all about delivering value at every stage of the customer's life cycle and fostering that long-term partnership. This is why McKinsey literally called customer success the most underused booster for SaaS founders. No, because like most SaaS founders, they're usually, what body's been told, right? In the landscape for Y Combinator and so on is that you have to go all in on sales and marketing, right? And at least at the beginning, while trying to reach in a very comfortable stage. Of course, that is true. But now you can't pay. Before they used to pay much less attention. Founders used to pay much less attention to what happened per sale, but you can't do that now anymore. The retention, the churn management is so important. In fact, I just mentioned churn. Let's not forget about churn, like the silent killer of most SaaS companies, right? This is the thing that that has killed more SaaS companies than than many other things. So many companies focus so much on acquisition, but they have a leaky pocket. So they are always having to replace, do more than they have to do just to retain revenue and all. This thing culture is another area where customer success helps tackle. That is why I'm saying the only SaaS companies that will survive. In fact, what am I saying? The only companies that, not just SaaS, in whatever industry or segment they are, that will survive this new age, you know, especially this new AI age, are the companies that realize that they fully enabled customer success from early on in their company. Is no more just a nice to have. It is now mission critical. You see, the truth is customer success has always been mission critical. But the reason it is just started to seem like that is because we are now having more and more players in the field, right? In the market. And it is starting to become more and more obvious what has always separated those that lead from those that thrill. That is why I still find it funny that in 2025, many SaaS founders, especially first-time founders, still don't realign this. And they wonder why their companies are struggling. Well, I guess you could say it's a good thing in a way, right? I mean, the SaaS founders that realize this, who have already realized the importance of customer success from early on, and they find ways to couple it with having great products. Man, I'm telling you, they will find it easier than ever to dominate their market and reach high pop evaluations. I'm telling you. Hey, even investors these days are now looking more closely at metrics like net revenue retention, burn multiples, right? That helps to prove product market fit, the ARR, the EBIT, right? To show where you're going to turn a profit. Like these things are all signs of customer success. If key enable customer success, it influences these things. And I'm going to show you in the video I talked about it. I'm actually going to show you how what I'm talking about. So if a SaaS founder, right, watching this, you are lucky. I'm going to say you are lucky because I have just handed over to the secret to business success. I've just given it to you, right? And if your mates started integrating customer success into your every part of your business, right? So here to date, you can start doing it. The best time to start is right now. It's not yet too late. And I guarantee you that 5 years from today, you will be glad you took that step, especially when you see your company thriving in markets where others are struggling. So I hope you got the message. Now, as for the video I was talking about, right, where I said I was going to walk you through how this idea of taking customer success early on helped a company scale so rapidly while being extremely profitable. Well, here is a quick overview of what happened. Here is the overview of the business that I said taking customer success serious helped to scale rapidly. Now, I want take a look at this table. This is the financials, right, of our company over the next 2 years. What the finance team has projected will happen over the next 2 years. Now you see, due to a glitch in our company system, this landed on my laptop for some reason. And I wanted to return it because I had nothing to do with it, but something caught my attention. You see, I realized that this data, they are linked with each other in such a way that if you update one metric, the entire table changes. And I found out that one metric that was so fundamental in everything was actually the churn metric, as you can see right here, the 2.1 churn metric. In fact, I was like, you know what? What if I just run a simulation, right? Just, I mean, drop this thing by a few percentage. Let me see the kind of difference it will even have on our table, on our finances. And my God, you will not believe the exponential difference that this thing made, right? And you see, I'm going to show you what I did, right? So what I did was to drop the churn percentage to 1.8%, right? Just saving like an extra 36 customers every month. And I'm going to show you how I presented it to leadership so I could convince them to start taking customer success serious. So this is just, let me just give you a quick backstory, right? This is our, software. We sell like Slack, kind of software whereby their individual users have $13 per month, or their enterprise, yeah, based on the users, right? Then we have LTV, right? You have an LTV of 48 months, right? Our gross margin is 3%. Our lifetime revenue is 618% per user actually. Then we have a payback period of 15 months, right? Then we have a CAC of 900 over $900. So basically, then we can see the tables here. Now, this is not the original data. I'll never leak the original data. So what I did was, for me to be able to create the visualization, this table was unformatted, so I had to use Power Query in Excel, right, to append the data after creating two versions. As you can see, this version for the 1.8, right? You can see right here. So I used Power Query there to append the data side by side. Then I took it to Power BI, where I created visualizations. You can see it right here. So now let's go into the nitty-gritty of what actually happened. So now, as you can see, we start the slideshow, right? So now, as you can see, by just dropping the churn percentage, right, from 2.1% to 1.8%, the monthly recurring revenue of this company jumped from over $474,000 to over $500,000. That's the monthly recurring revenue. That's a 30,000 increase. Can you imagine that? Then look at the net ARR. Now remember, this projection is over 2 years. Look at the net annual recurring revenue. Jumped from 5.6 million to over $6 million. Like, that's just mind blowing. Okay, look at the numbers of net customers retained every month, right? They were able to increase that by over $2,000, 2,000 customers, right? By just giving their customer success team the tools to be able to handle churn and reduce churn, right, in the company. They look at the gross profit. The gross profit dropped by over $25,000, right, from 300,000 to over $400,000. Even though their LTV to CAC ratio, right, their LTV to CAC was dropping, right. It was dropping constantly based on the projections that the finance team did. Then the lifetime revenue, you can see that there was an increase of $668 in the lifetime revenue of each customer. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how much profit? Now, what I'm getting to the integrity of how like the kind of difference taking churn serious made in this business. Look at the LTV to CAC ratio. Remember, I said that it jumped from 3 to 1 to 5 to 1 within 8 months. Now, I want you to take a look at this. You can see that the darker blue line actually represents 2.1% churn, right? Then the lighter blue line represents the 1.8% churn. Now, look at here, right? According to the normal projections, the company had the LTV to CAC ratio of 3 to 1 by January of 2025 and was projected to hit 5 to 1 by December of 2026. But then when we dropped the churn from
2.1 to 1.8, you could see that this company was even already starting at an almost high LTV to CAC ratio of 4 to 1. And unlike when it was supposed to be December, they actually hit that 5 to 1 LTV to CAC ratio. April, 8 months prior to when it was supposed to originally hit it. And you can see that by the time when this at 2.1% they were just hitting 5 to 1, they had already hit almost 6 to 1. They were now making 6 times more money on every dollar that they were spending on a customer. $6 on every dollar. Just imagine that. Now, as you can see, we're able to spend more on marketing, right? They could get more money to spend on marketing so that they could scale. And you can see that even though their operating income went up, it showed that they had more money to spend. That was why their operating income, because this is a startup that's still trying to scale. So they are still the negative zone, right? Trying to turn a profit. You could see that at this the lighter blue line, right? Which signifies the 1.8% churn. You can see it's way higher than the 2.1% churn because they had so much money to spend, right? From retaining more customers because they dropped the churn. Okay, look at now. This is their EBIT, right? According to the projections by the sales team and the operation finance team, their EBIT is supposed to be dropping, right? When they are going to turn a profit. They were projected to, a profit sometime around after the 2 years, right? A few months after 2 years. It's as you can see, even though operating expenses are shut up, right? Even though they were spending more money on marketing, they were still on track to turn a profit at the same timeline that they had originally proposed. Can you just imagine that? So that is the way scaling rapidly while still be on track to being profitable. Like that is just yeah, that's just insane actually. So that's just what I wanted to show to you